Charles Barkley has lived one of the most colorful lives in sports history. From being an unstoppable force in the NBA to becoming one of the funniest, most outspoken analysts on television, he's done just about everything. He's a Hall of Famer, an MVP, and a pop culture icon who's been entertaining fans for decades. But there's one thing Barkley hasn't added to his long list of achievements: being a coffee drinker. That's right. The round mound of rebound has never been a fan of coffee. In fact, he recently shared his short-lived and absolutely disastrous coffee journey during a hilarious segment on NBA on ESPN. It started like many of Barkley's classic stories, totally out of nowhere. One minute the panel was talking basketball, the next, Chuck was sharing how he once tried to become a coffee guy, and failed miserably. "I tried coffee 3 days of my life," Barkley said, with his trademark grin. "I read this article about 4 years ago which said coffee was good for you. That was like my New Year's resolution. I drank coffee for 3 days. That's the nastiest tasting stuff in the history of civilization." The moment he said it, the entire ESPN panel broke into laughter. You could see everyone trying to keep it together, but it's impossible when Charles Barkley starts roasting something as universal as coffee. He continued the story, not missing a beat. "I only did it 3 days of my life and it sucked. I'm not even sure what it tasted like. It just tasted nasty. I tried it for 3 days and I was like, you know what? I'd rather be unhealthy than drink this crap every day." Classic Chuck. That's what makes him so loved by fans. He's honest, unfiltered, and completely himself. Most people wouldn't dare criticize something as universally loved as coffee, but Barkley doesn't care. He'll tell you exactly what he thinks, no matter the topic. And it's not the first time he's gone viral for his random, off-topic takes. Whether it's his legendary guarantees on Inside the NBA, his jokes about San Antonio's fans, or his brutally honest opinions about modern players, Barkley has built a second career out of being unapologetically real. But this coffee story hits differently, because it's so relatable. Everyone has that one healthy thing they try to do because an article told them to. Maybe it's green smoothies, maybe it's jogging at 6 a.m., or in Chuck's case, coffee. And just like Barkley, a lot of people find out pretty quickly that it's not for them. The funniest part is how seriously he took that brief attempt. You can imagine him sitting there, reading about coffee's health benefits, making a fresh cup, taking a sip, and immediately regretting every life choice that led to that moment. Energy doesn't come from caffeine, it comes from personality. He's one of those rare people who doesn't need coffee to wake up and get going. His energy, his humor, and his honesty are all natural. That's what's made him such a beloved figure both on and off the court. And to be fair, he's not totally wrong, coffee isn't for everyone. But only Charles Barkley could turn a 3-day coffee trial into a story that breaks the internet. Fans online absolutely loved it. Clips of the segment spread across social media, with people quoting his lines and joking that Barkley versus coffee was the funniest matchup of the year. Even non-basketball fans chimed in, saying they could relate to his disgust with that first bitter sip. At this point, it feels like every week, Barkley gives fans another unforgettable soundbite. That's part of his genius, he can make any topic entertaining. One minute he's breaking down an NBA Finals matchup, the next he's ranting about how awful coffee tastes. And honestly, that's what makes him one of a kind. He doesn't try to be polished or diplomatic. He doesn't filter himself for TV. He's just Chuck, funny, honest, and always keeping it real. Whether you agree with him or not, you can't help but laugh when he tells a story. So, will Barkley ever give coffee another chance? Probably not. But even without caffeine, he's still one of the most energetic and entertaining voices in sports. He doesn't need a cup of coffee to wake up, Charles Barkley is the energy. In a world full of hot takes and fake personalities, Chuck remains refreshingly authentic. And that's why fans love him, not because he says what people want to hear, but because he says what everyone's thinking. And when it comes to coffee, he's made his stance very clear: 3 days was more than enough.